Welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. Today, we're going to be talking about money versus currency and why Bitcoin is the best money ever created in the history of money that we know of. So, we all know that the catch tag or the phrase, the catchphrase or the tagline for Bitcoin is digital gold. And I would say it is gold improved. And I'm going to prove that as we go through the properties of money. So we have to start with what are the properties of money versus currency. And then we need to talk about why gold has been the best one for the last 5,000 years up until 2009 when Bitcoin really started to come onto the scene and became a better solution. So let me start by sharing my screen. Let's see. I think this is the one. Yeah, there we go. So here we go. The properties of money. So the properties of money. So the first off is that it has to be a medium of exchange. It's people use it for you price things, you price goods and services in the form of that money. So for sake of illustration, I will use the US dollar, even though I'm going to prove that the dollar is not money. The dollar is actually currency. But fabric or pot or whatever will be priced in like the US dollars. And also unit of account, how much money do you have? So what's the house worth? What is, how much is the yen? House prices in Japan can be compared using the yen. Store of value, that's the biggest thing, is that it preserves your purchasing power. So you transform your labor or your energy or your working into a store of value. So this is really the terms that most people talk about. In other words, money must be durable, must last. And I'm going to compare gold to Bitcoin and prove that Bitcoin has better properties. So Bitcoin will last as long as there is a miner or the network is up. Gold will last until gold is destroyed, but gold has been pervasive and doesn't go away. It's very durable, lasts for thousands of years. Portable. Now, individuals can carry money with them and transfer to others. Now, gold was not very portable because most people kept it as a store of value. So you put it in a place like Fort Knox or a bank that would store it somewhere safe. And then people would use silver in the old days. And then eventually it became paper money, which is essentially an IOU for the gold. So, but the portability of Bitcoin is much better because we can send it using our phones or using a device, and we can send it electronically and it can be there in a matter of minutes. Uniform. So that's all forms of the same denomination must have the same purchasing power. So that's where a dollar is a dollar. The things are priced in a dollar. Things are priced in an ounce of gold or a Bitcoin. One Bitcoin is the same as the other for them as far as pricing. We're going back to the top corner here of fungibility. Fungibility means that one unit is interchangeable with another. Fungibility is actually a falsehood with both gold and Bitcoin and currency as well. The US dollars, they start with a dollar, say a dollar is a dollar, no matter what. We'll look at the dollar itself. There's a serial number on it, so automatically it's unique. It's got a date, it's got a mint. So the physical dollar is unique in that sense. Same with the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is mined at a certain time and it exists on a blockchain at a certain time frame, and you can track that particular Bitcoin throughout its history. Gold could be unique, going all the way back to the shape of the gold nugget that was pulled out of the ground to all the way to the point as a fundamental element of property. The properties of gold are the same, but once gold is minted into a coin, either by the Romans or the Aztecs or the Spaniards, whomever, but going even to the modern days, like the gold, the eagle, the Krugerrand, all those different, the panda from China, all the different coins from gold are unique. So fungibility is actually kind of a falsehood, but they all pretty much are interchangeable that way. So they all have the same amount of fungibility. But Bitcoin is better for portability, divisibility. Gold, you can only slice so much. I mean, you can get it really, really thin and really, really small, but you're not going to get down to the atomic level. But Bitcoin has 8 digits. So it goes to 8 decimal places currently. And the last decimal place is considered 1 Satoshi. That's the smallest measurement of a Bitcoin today. Now, let's just say that Bitcoin eventually gets to one point where one Bitcoin is $100 million. That would be where 1 Satoshi Well, there's 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. So at that point, if Bitcoin's $100 million and there's 100 million Satoshis, one Satoshi would be equal to $1. So you make the argument like, well, we need something smaller than that. Maybe, maybe not. But if you want to go there and you want to do that, that's fine. The miners would just vote to say, let's add 3 more decimal places and make, millisatoshis. Be perfectly fine to do. Because it's computer code, it's an easy change to the code. Just go ahead and do that. So Bitcoin is better than gold because it's infinitely divisible because of the math. Acceptable. Gold is pretty much acceptable all over the world as money and currency. Some places, like, you can't walk into a 7-Eleven and buy a Slurpee with gold, but you can use the Visa network. And speaking of the Visa network, let me share this information. A card like a BitPay card, which if you don't have a BitPay card, let me pull up my website real quick. Right. So here's my website. If you scroll down to the bottom, pardon the scroll here, you have the BitPay card. So you can get a BitPay, you can get $10 for it. It's a great card. It's my number one card for using crypto, and it's both a wallet and a debit card. And it's a wallet for, let's just say you put 0.1 Bitcoin on there, and today it's worth $2,200. As soon as you move it over to your debit side, you're doing a transaction, you're cashing out that Bitcoin to a debit to US dollars. And now the card can be swiped for any part of the MasterCard or Visa network. So it's really widely acceptable. So looking at the Visa network, you can see how widely accepted it's over. They've done over 230 billion transactions in 2021, 100 million merchants. So it's widely acceptable, okay, for using these types of credit cards. So far, Bitcoin has met or exceeded all these, and we've talked about everything except for limited supply. This is where Bitcoin really crushes it, because Bitcoin is the only asset class that we know exactly how much there's ever going to be. And yes, there's more Bitcoin created every day. Currently, it's 900 Bitcoin a day, which equates to about 37 and a half an hour, or 6 1/4 every 10 minutes is really the block size. Roughly 10 minutes, because it's based on when the next block, the miners solve a math problem, and then the network accepts it, and then the next block is created roughly every 10 minutes. So we know exactly how much supply. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There could be more gold found. In fact, they found more gold in Africa more than once in the last couple of years, and the government immediately seizes the land and prevents the local people from getting gold because they don't want to lose labor force. Imagine you walk in your backyard and you find 1,000 ounces of gold. Well, you're pretty much an instant millionaire, if not more, and you'd be questioning whether you're going to work or going to do any work the next day. That happened on a much larger scale in several countries in Africa in the past couple of years. I think it was Zaire and Uganda. Both of the places have found mountains of gold, and the government seized it. But they can find more gold. They can find more oil. They can find more of any commodity. They can certainly print more US dollars, but they can't just make more Bitcoin than the 21 million. And the reason of that is it's written into the code, and the only people that are allowed to change the code are the miners, and they would have to vote on it. The miners would never agree to add more Bitcoin because it would decrease the value of their operations as being a miner. So, all right. So that's all the different properties of money and how Bitcoin meets or exceeds gold. And the difference between money and currency go back to this one difference, the store of value. We know that currency loses value over time. Look at the US dollar with inflation and how much it's gone down over time. Year over year, we've lost buying power. It's like 2 to 3% of what the 1913 purchasing power. So I think that's about it. So let me drop out of here. Find my right window. There we go. So that's a brief. I just got a haircut. Anyway, those are the properties of Bitcoin and crypto, and those are properties of Bitcoin as far as money. So Bitcoin, I would dare say, is a better form of money than gold. And much like when the wheel was invented, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You hear that saying a lot. Well, it doesn't mean the wheel is the best mode of transportation the entire time. There was the horse and buggy up until the internal combustion engine really took off around the turn of the century, the 20th century. And then it became the automobile. And then we've moved, transportation has moved from horses to horse and buggy to steam powered engines to trains to automobiles to planes, but it's still transport. It's just improved with time. So there's no need, just like transportation can improve, money can improve. And while gold has been the best form for the last 5,000 years because governments keep making fiat currencies and debasing them and they lose their value, Bitcoin is gold improved because finally we have the technology and the properties of money defined well enough that we've written something where Satoshi wrote the white paper. That group that was Satoshi wrote the white paper that created something that's the equivalent of money, but better. So it's gold improved, digitized gold, improved money. So that's what I wanted to prove today. I wanted to talk about like why Bitcoin is the best form of money since gold. And it seems to be going forward. So what are your thoughts? Does that satisfy your answer as to why Bitcoin is digital gold and why it's better than gold and why it's the best form of money ever created by humankind? Leave a comment down below as to what your thoughts are. And of course, like and subscribe, share these videos, really appreciate it. And then stay tuned. I'm sure we'll talk about this will lead right into Bitcoin maximalization and why altcoins exist and why they have to exist. So that'll be another video for another day. But there's plenty said today. So I'm going to close the door on the bureau, say follow leader one more time, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.